These challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
This is Inside the Senate. I am Hussaina Amina Aboki. The Senate Committee on Finance last week hosted stakeholders in discussions on the 2023-2025 Medium Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Fiscal Strategy Paper, FSP. Details of the proceedings in this episode of the program. We also have a report of an interactive session between senators and the nation's security chiefs over security matters. We conclude the program with a review of legislations on the nation's power sector considered by the Senate before it recessed. For details of these and more, stay tuned after this short break.
The Senate will send a message to the President
to reap opportunities from that agreement.
Raise a matter of urgent public importance. And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up,
for a longer term development, arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. Senate President Ahmad Lawan says prudence must be the watchword in the nation's bid to maximize resources towards meeting the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. He stated this at an interactive session with the Federal Ministry of Finance and the government's revenue generation agencies on the 2023-2025 Medium Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Fiscal Strategy Paper, FSP, on Tuesday, the 13th of September 2022.
This is in continuation of preparation for the 2023 budget and the referral of
the Senate President was represented by the Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi.
We also have to identify the promises we have against the challenges ahead. Our past efforts have yielded results from the timely passage of budgets, which have been helpful to macroeconomic planning, possibilities of implementation, and resulted in productive outcomes in infrastructure and utilities.
In a keynote address, the committee chairman, Senator Solomon Olamilekan, spoke particularly on the 2023-2025 MTEF and FSP.
In the life of this administration, the 2023-25 Medium Term Expenditure Framework will be the last to be considered at a time that events at the global scene and locally are putting massive financial pressure on the Nigerian economy from most indices. In spite of this, we have, as a nation, made some progress in our public finance with the passage of 3 Finance Acts 2019, 2020, and 2021. These laws, which reform outdated sections of over 20 existing acts, as well as bringing them up to date, is having positive effects on our people and businesses.
He also acknowledged that the nation's budget is challenged by the following factors: impact of crude oil theft, Russian-Ukraine war, insecurity, as well as infrastructural deficit, amongst others. He then called on the government to address these challenges if the nation must move on. The vice chairman of the committee, on his part, spoke on the need for increased revenues while also calling on the federal government to bring to an end the problem of crude oil theft in Nigeria.
I want to urge all the agencies present here today to work seriously on their revenue generation drives. I equally want to use this opportunity to thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for setting up a committee to address the lingering and embarrassing problem of oil theft in Nigeria.
During the technical sessions that followed, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Hajia Zainab Ahmad Shamsuna disclosed that 19.76 trillion naira is proposed as the 2023 budget, which would come with a deficit of 12.43 trillion naira because 6 trillion naira had been projected as tax and import duty waivers, while fuel subsidy, which she said would end in June 2023, would gulp another 6 trillion naira. She blamed this on dwindling revenue.
The 2023 federal government revenue is projected to be 8.46 trillion. And this 8.46 trillion is 15.1% or 1.5 trillion less than what we had as revenue in the 2022 budget. Of this 8.46 trillion, 1.99 trillion or 23% is projected to come from oil-related sources, while the balance is from the non-oil sources. Again, this is emphasizing that the Nigerian government expenditure is largely funded by non-oil revenues. So for 2023, the oil revenue sources are contributing 23.6% to the government budget.
The committee chairman responded.
It's a little bit scary that we have such a huge amount of money to be borrowed to finance a 19.6 trillion budget. We need to cut down this deficit. We will not be looking at this 12.43 trillion. We give more revenue targets to most of our revenue generating agencies. This is one area in which we should look at.
For the Controller General of Customs, he disclosed some sources of revenue slated for exploration by the service for increased IGR in the coming years.
The introduction of 2.5% export change on the exportation of all imported goods as conveyed through the 2022 fiscal policy is one assumption that we believe will increase our revenue generation. We're working assiduously to commence the collection with regards to the telecommunication tax, which is, of course, everybody knows, is a luxury tax.
Accordingly, he said, their projection of IGR for the next 3 years is as follows. 2023, 2.8 trillion naira. 2024, 3.5 trillion naira. 2025, 3.752 trillion naira. For the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, their projection is based on the following assumptions as presented by their chairman, Muhammad Nami. Average crude oil production, 1.69 million barrels per day for 2023 and 1.83 million barrels per day for 2024 and 2025. Average crude oil price, $70 per barrel for 2023, $66 per barrel for 2024 and $62 per barrel for 2025. Average exchange rate, 435 naira per dollar for 2023 and 2024 and 435.57 naira per dollar for 2025. He continued with the revenue projection from oil and non-oil sectors for the next 3 years.
Oil projection is 4.1 trillion, non-oil is 5.9 trillion, totaling 10.13 trillion. 2024, 4.1 trillion for oil and 6.71 trillion for non-oil. 2025, 4.37 trillion for oil and 7.42 trillion for non-oil.
When it was the turn of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, their chairman lamented non-remittance of IGR collected on behalf of the government by some of the nation's revenue-generating agencies.
Some of the agencies like NCC, sometimes Port Authority, sometimes NIMASA, you have to send consultants there to look into their books critically, you examine, and they will argue with you that they have remitted, but when you look deeply, you find that they have not remitted. So, distinguished chairman, you have to assist the commission in capacity building to allow us to do our job constitutionally.
There's no doubt about that we have to support with capacity building. Yes, sir. But the question still remains. To build capacity, it starts from you.
Yes.
By developing all those that are around you. It's aftermath of that we can now start saying, okay, let's start building, and we'll get there.
Also in a presentation on Wednesday, the 14th of September 2022, the Executive Director of Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria, Patrick Adebola, disclosed that Nigeria now ranks 4th amongst the world's cocoa-producing nations from its former second position. This he blamed on the liberalization of the sector on the advice of the IMF, which other countries declined. He said the trend can be reversed.
The Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria have their own part to play in making sure that we reverse this trend. One, when you want to improve the production of cocoa, you have to start from the planting materials. You have to get new improved planting materials. I'm happy to tell you that the Institute now has 8 new varieties of cocoa, which can produce in 2 years. And we have been mandated to produce these materials and distribute these materials to farmers, and that is what we are doing. This year alone, we produced 650,000 seedlings of T-series cocoa materials, which we were mandated to distribute free to farmers, being supported by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development.
One of the committee members made a case for the enhancement of cocoa production in Nigeria.
One, in terms of what? Road infrastructure to the farms. Minister of Economic Development should prioritize rural road construction in those states that cocoa farmers are really doing well.
The committee promised to compile all presentations in a report for submission to the Senate for more legislative action. As it were, the report would form part of the document upon which the parameters of the 2023 budget would be predicated. When the National Pensions Commission (PENCOM) appeared Thursday, the 15th of September 2022, they were confronted with a question on late payment of their dues on retirement from service.
Late payment, I think, is almost a thing of the past. The reason pension used to be late was because of the policy that mandates 3 things to be in a person's retirement savings account before he can begin to withdraw pension.
Describing the scheme as the safest means of investment, she stated that 63% of the money, amounting to 9.3 trillion naira, is invested, 35% of the fund in money market, 1.2 trillion naira invested in equities with 5% in private equities. Committee members expressed satisfaction with this, while the vice chairman of the committee urged the commission to explore more avenues of revenue.
So you really need to grow those various sources, those additional sources of income. You should try and grow them as much as possible.
Those were details from the interactive sessions over the 2023-2025 MTEF and FSP. Next is our notebook segment. Stay tuned for our subject of the week.
Bill referral is the forwarding of a draft bill to a committee under which purview each subject matter falls. This is so that the committee can carry out more legislative action on it. Irrespective of who or where the bill originates from, such actions are taken after the second reading of the bill. The committee is given a period within which to work on the bill and report its findings to the Senate.
Welcome back. The program now continues with the report of an interactive session between the nation's security chiefs and senators which took place on Monday, the 12th of September 2022. The report, alongside others, is presented from our studio.
Present at the interactive session were the Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Irabo, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Zubair Gambo, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Isiaka Amao, as well as the Inspector General of Police Mr. Usman Al-Khali Baba, the Commander General of the Civil Defense Corps Mr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, Comptroller General of Immigration. Declaring the session open, Senate President Ahmad Lawal expressed gladness and satisfaction at the recent successes recorded by the nation's forces in the battle against insecurity.
We pray that this continues because we now have the momentum. We have seized the initiative, and it's for us to finish the job. I believe that you, our armed forces, and other security agencies have everything in terms of the morale and the determination, even though we still have to give some other support.
The rest of the meeting was thereafter held behind closed doors for security reasons, at the end of which was resolved to increase the frequency of the interaction.
Inside the Senate continues with a review of bills on the power sector. One of them, which was presented for second reading on Tuesday the 28th of September 2021, sought to address Nigeria's electricity challenge. Let's review how much the Senate has done to address the power sector challenge. Keep watching.
The bill was titled Electric Power Reform Act 2005 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021 and sponsored by Senator Gabriel Suswam. He lamented that 75% of Nigerians are not enjoying the full electricity potentials due to epileptic power supply occasioned by post-privatization challenges. To address this challenge, he said, the bill will consolidate the laws relating to the electricity supply industry and enact the Electricity Act 2021 to provide a comprehensive legal and institutional framework for the power sector reform in Nigeria.
What is, however, required at this point, distinguished colleague, is an ideal legal framework that will stimulate the deployment of relevant regulatory and policy measures that will accelerate growth in power generation capacity, improve utilization of generated power through increased investment in new technologies that will enhance transmission and distribution of generated power. This, among other objectives, are provided under Section 1 of this bill and what the bill is intended to achieve.
The bill was debated by lawmakers.
I wish to draw the attention of the promoter of the bill not to be silent on the power plants which are established under the National Integrated Power Project that was transferred, whose ownership was transferred to the Niger Delta Power Holding Companies, which were supposed to be privatized, and then the proceeds to be used to set up hydroelectricity power plants so that to increase power output.
The importance of this bill cannot be overemphasized. The bill is very timely. Nigeria is in a crossroad, and the major challenge we have, I believe, as a nation, is to solve this power challenge.
After more debate, the bill scaled second reading and referred to the Committee on Power to report back in 4 weeks. Issues of energy were also treated at the committee level with the Committee on Science and Technology on Thursday, the 7th of July 2022, hosted the International Energy Charter, a global energy organization with headquarters in Brussels in Belgium. The primary objective of the International Energy Charter is strengthening the rule of law in energy issues by creating a level playing field of multilateral rules to be observed by all participating governments. Its treaty covers all aspects of commercial energy activities including trade, investment, and energy efficiency. The Charter has 54 countries as permanent members, while 44 others are on observer status, with Nigeria being an observer since 2016. Not satisfied with Nigeria's observer status, the committee chairman, Senator Uche Ekunife, argued that Nigeria has all it takes to be a full-fledged member of the Charter due to its energy profile. She summarized Nigeria's energy potential to include the fact that Nigeria hosts 37.07 trillion barrels of crude oil reserves since 2016. Nigeria's gas reserve is 208.6 trillion cubic feet as of January 2022. Nigeria's renewable energy capacity in 2021 was estimated at about 2.154 megawatts.
But despite these potentials, Nigeria's pace is much lower than the global average, indicating the need for stronger international cooperation to optimize the electricity market and drive massive investment. That is the reason why Nigeria is working very hard to partner with IEC to be a member, not just to be an observer. Then what is our interest as a country? Number one interest is that Nigeria, both Nigeria and our regional body, that is ECOWAS, fall under the observer status. Hence, there is urgent need to facilitate upgrading of Nigeria to full membership status.
Senator Ekunife added that Nigeria needs more collaborative support from bigger organizations such as the World Bank, United Nations, Economic Fund for Europe, and other superpower members of the Charter to ensure efficiency in its power supply system.
So your coming to Nigeria is timely, and you have come at a time when this country is thinking about diversifying our economy. And there's no way you can think about diversification of any economy without talking about power.
The Director General of the Energy Commission, who was also on ground during the meeting, agreed with the chairman and spoke on how far efforts have gone to accord Nigeria a full-fledged membership of the Charter.
We're in the process of ascension to the treaty, and the idea is that if we belong to an international community that promotes energy trade and cooperation, and also in dispute settlement, it will enhance foreign direct investment into our energy sector.
The Secretary General of the Charter, Mr. Guy Lenz, appealed for more investment in the nation's energy sector.
When you invest in energy, you invest for 30 years, whatever is the investment you are doing. It is the same for renewable and energy efficiency as it was for fossil fuel. That is the reason why security in law and continuity in your legal framework will ensure you the security of investment. Investment will come if your legal framework, legal sectors remain the same all along the path.
The session ended with a resolution for more collaboration between the committee and the Charter.
Our profile segment is next. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Halli Rujika represents Bauchi Central Senatorial District under APC. He attended Sardauna Memorial College, Kaduna for his West African School Certificate, WASC, and Kaduna Polytechnic for a National Diploma in Civil Engineering in 2003. Senator Halli Rujika joined politics and was elected as a member of Bauchi State House of Assembly, representing Daras Oganjua State Constituency, served 2 terms and rose to the position of Speaker. In 2015, he was elected to the House of Representatives to represent Daras Oganjua Federal Constituency under APC. In 2019, Senator Halli Rujika contested to the Senate and won to represent Bauchi Central Senatorial District under APC. However, he defected to the NNPP on the 4th of August 2022. He is currently the chairman, Senate Committee on Police Affairs, and a member of several other committees. His legislative interests include agriculture, education, and youth and women empowerment.
With this, we come to the end of our program this week. Join us next week for another package. In the meantime, watch previous episodes of Inside the Senate on our YouTube handle amongst other social media platforms showing on your screen. Thanks for watching.